Yo, peace was good. Welcome to another Song My CD collection. This is part 97. This is pretty much a continuation of part 96. The reason why is because I was doing the Camp Low on the way uptown album overview, but I didn't really get to finish because I was kind of running out of time. So I just wanted to finish this up and then pretty much move on to the next batch of CDs and stuff like that. So alright, so I left off with this album right here. Like I said, Camp Low, which consists of two members from the Bronx, Geechee Suede and Sonny Chiba from the Bronx. Everybody knows about their classic album, Uptown Saturday Night. Well, this is pretty much the demo version of this album. Songs that they recorded between 1994 and 1995. I believe that album was supposed to come out back in 1996, but they didn't. They sent this album out to Profile. I think it was Profile Records that they were under at the time, but I guess they didn't really take the album, so they kind of worked on the album again, and and then with the album that we all know from that dropped in 1987 is the final album, but this is the album before. It's like the prequel to Uptown Saturday Night. It's pretty much songs that, like I said, recorded 94, 95. They were working with Ski Beats, obviously. Ski Beats does the majority of the production, that kind of thing. Jocko does one production. He does the Coolie High Gotcha Wide demo. Jocko did the production on that, the beat for that. But yeah, fucking enjoyed, loving this album. You could tell with Ski Beats at the time. If you follow Ski Beats around that time, you could tell that he was just now dabbling into like R&B samples. Because before, if you listen to Ski Beats, the stuff that he's done, with original flavor and people outside of that, outside production, he used mostly jazz production, jazz samples. But with this album, it's like a mixture of like soul samples and jazz samples and stuff like that. There are videos for these songs. I know there's a video for Sugar Streets. There's a video for that. World Heist. There's a video for that. A Piece of the Action. Piece of the Action is pretty much like a 1-part video, and then World Heist is like the second part video. Then that was pretty cool. And you got songs like Lucchini, like the demo version of that. Sparkle, the demo version. Say Word. Crystal Carrington, which was actually on the album, which were all on the album. Black Connection, that kind of thing. Pretty good album. I fucking love this album. I love it. It's pretty dope. If you guys like Uptown Saturday Night, then you'll definitely enjoy this joint right here. So if you guys want to know how they sounded back around 94, 1995, definitely pick this up. My only gripe with this joint is that it doesn't have the their version of Feeling It, because if you guys know, all my Jay-Z fans, that the song Feeling It off the Reasonable Doubt album was actually a Camp Low song, but Jay-Z ended up taking the song and stuff like that, that kind of thing, and it didn't make the album. I wish it did, but you can actually find that version on YouTube. You can find that version on YouTube. It's not the best quality in the world, but it's definitely. Let me turn over the video. Excuse me. The music. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So, like I said before, Feeling It. Like I said, that was their song originally, but like I said, you can find it on YouTube. It's not really the best quality, but I just wish it was on this album. It definitely would have blend in well with the rest of the tracks. But pretty dope album. I highly recommend it. It's really cheap. I got it for I think like $10, or not $10, like close to $11, but definitely worth the money, man. I highly recommend it. If you like mid-90s hip hop, you like Camp Low, you like Ski Beats early production, then this will be the album to pick up. Alright? So this is Camp Low on the way uptown, the Uptown Saturday Night demo, released in 2017. Next album, still in the Rockefeller realm of things, is Camp Low with their debut album Uptown Saturday Night, released in 1997. I already mentioned who Camp Low is. Sonny Chiba and and Geechee Suede. And these cats, man, they're so original. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because you know how cats now, you have cats that kind of, I don't want to say it is a trend, but it is a trend where, you know, people are like embracing the 90s style or the 90s era. Well, with them, they was doing that in the 90s, but with the 70s. So, even by the way they dress and stuff like that, you know, this is pretty much like a them paying homage to Marvin Gaye's "I Want You" album that dropped in 1976, which is a dope album. You know, you got songs like Lucchini, aka "This Is It." This is a single. Sparkle, which was a single. Coolie High, there's a dope video for that. Black Nostalgic, aka Come On, pretty dope. I mean, this is a dope album right here, and I got lucky because I actually found it for $10 because this album is a little bit hard to come by, and it goes for a little bit of money online. Like, I remember I was looking for it a couple months ago, and I've seen it go for like $30 and, you know, $40. I was like, get the fuck out of here! I'm not paying that. You know, it's a good album, but it's not worth that kind of money. That's just my opinion, but it's a really good album. It's a classic. Like I said, what I like about these cats is that they actually embrace the '70s era. You know, from the slang to the way they talk, and, you know, the samples that they use and stuff like that. Like, you really feel like you're back in like 1975, but with a '90s twist to it. You know, but it's pretty dope, man. I fucking love this album. I mean, Negro Lee. Like I said, Sparkle, Black Connection, Kill 'Em Softly, Crystal Carrington, love that joint right there. Coolie High, dope shit right there. I mean, Black Nostalgia, the whole album is dope, man. Camp Lo, I feel like they don't get the just due that they deserve, and they're original. There's nobody like these cats. They don't. You'll never hear people like Camp. You'll never hear another group like Camp Lo. They have their own lane, their own stilo, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Uptown Saturday Night by Camp Lo, released in 1997. Dope album. If you can find it, definitely pick it up. Next album is Lost Professor's second album, titled First Class, released in 2002. Funny story with this album is that I remember seeing it at Circuit City. Remember Circuit City, guys, back in the day? And I remember seeing it, but I never bothered picking it up because I was so enamored with 90s Lost Professor. You know, I was kind of scared that I wasn't gonna like the album, so that's why I didn't bother picking it up. But yeah, get him out to this album. Like I said, it's the second album. Everybody should know about the infamous LP album that he was supposed to drop back in 1996. But the record label Geffen Records wanted him to do like a more commercialized, like kind of radio friendly album, you know, more filler tracks. He wasn't really with that. You know, people were saying like his style was too old. You know, it's like you know, his stuff is like, you know, 1992, that kind of thing. And, you know, he's kind of like, fuck you, pretty much. And he wouldn't change his style for nothing. And so, you know, they shelved the album. And then the album was bootleg. It came out like in 2002, but it was a bootleg version of the album. And excuse me. And he re-released it back in 2009, and then you got the original album. Even though like some of the songs were kind of remixed, which I don't like. I wish he kind of kept it in its original form, you know, sound wise. You know, like for example, there's a song called Queen's Lounge on the album, which there's a demo version on YouTube. I love how that shit sounds. It sounds so grimy, and the drum sounds more heavy, and it hits heavy and stuff like that. Whereas the album version that came out in 2009, it's a little bit too tame, too light for me. You know what I mean? But you know, it is what it is. But getting back to this album, like I said, this came out in 2002. These are songs that he recorded between 2000 and 2002. So he made this. It took him 2 years to come out with the album. The single off this album is Radioactive, which there was a video for. I would like to say Stay Chisel was a single too with Nas. Pretty dope song. You know what I mean? Them going back and forth. They have such a dope chemistry, man. Pretty dope. Overall with this album was cool. You know, I feel like it could have been a little bit better. and I feel like it was because of the beats. You know, it's a dope album. Like I said, I like some of the stuff, but I feel like it kind of fell short. You know, that kind of thing. You know, around this time, he wasn't really sampling as much. You know what I mean? He kind of was dabbling into the more, um, you know, I guess like the more organic sound and stuff, like using more synths and stuff like that. You know, but he's definitely sampling, but just not as much. You know what I mean? I think he was trying to stray away from the sampling, or it could have been the equipment that he was using at the time. Because I think around this time, he was using the ASRX, which is like the MPC version of the Sonic. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So, but yeah, decent album. Could have been a lot better. The song Hip Hop is if you guys are familiar with Nas's Illmatic, the 10th anniversary, where it has like the hologram cover version of the original Illmatic with like kind of like the hologram kind of look to it. There's a couple of bonus tracks, and there's a song called Star Wars with Nas. Lost Professor did the beat, and Nas fucking killed that joint. That's like one of my all-time favorite Nas songs. Well, Lost Professor has his own version called Hip Hop, and Lost Professor did his thing on the song, but I'm so used to Nas's Star Wars version. To me, it was a lot better. He delivered it a lot better, and that kind of thing. But yeah, you got songs like In the Sun with Q-Tip. That's a dope song. Cool, love that joint. Blaze Rhymes 2, really dope. About That Time, which was like an actual single too off the album that came out. That dropped like in like 2000, but it was like a 12-inch. So, but yeah, Lost Professor with First Class, released in 2002. By the way, these two out of print, so if you can find it, definitely pick it up. Next album, finally got my hands on this. Been trying to get this album for years. Well, I couldn't find it in stores, but you know, I was like, you know what? You know, I might as well just go get it. And the album is King Just with Mystic of the Gods. This was released back in 1994. No, excuse me, 1995. King Just, he's an MC from Shaolin, aka Staten Island. He's from the Park Hills section of Shaolin. You know, home of you know, people like Raekwon, Capadonna, you know, cats like that. There's been a lot of speculation with King Just because, you know, a lot of people felt like he was part of Wu-Tang. He's not. He's an affiliate of Wu-Tang, but even at that time, he wasn't really repping Wu. You know what I'm saying? Like, but even though when you listen to the album, it definitely has like that vibe to it, but he wasn't really repping Wu-Tang like that. He had his own stilo. Like, I think he had something called he had a group back then. I think it was called Shaolin Soldiers or The Outfit. I think around that time too. But yeah, pretty dope album. Known for the singles. Warriors Drum. Fucking love that song. And No Flows on the Rodeo. Love that joint too. I remember when I first heard Warriors Drum back in like 1994. I think like around 93, 1994 when it first came out. But I remember that joint coming out like in the summer of that year of 94. And they used to play the living shit out of that song. Like everywhere you go, you heard that song, Warriors Drum. Hey, ho. Hey, yo, that shit, that was my shit right there. Just his flow. Like his flow was fucking dope. And a lot of people like to compare him to like Old Dirty Bastard, you know, just because of his flow and stuff like that. But, you know, I don't see it. I mean, I can see like the delivery why people say that, but you know, two different personalities. But yeah, dope album. Love the aggressiveness of the album. Shaolin Soldiers, dope song right there. No Flows on the Rodeo was one of my all-time favorite Easy Mo beat tracks. There's a video for that too. Pain, Moving Up, Stomp, dope song right there. Boom Bow, Hassan Chop. I mean, dope album, man. And what's crazy is this album is not that expensive either. The most you used to spend on this album was maybe like $10, but you know, you could get it for much cheaper. You know, expect to see it for like at least, you know, $6, $7, $4, and that kind of thing. But yeah, dope album. If you can find it, I highly recommend checking this album out. Very dope. This is King Just with Mystics of the Gods, released in 1995. Next album, finally got my hands on this album. So glad to own it. It is Playa Fly with Fly Shit, released in 1996. For those who don't know who Playa Fly is, I've mentioned him before. I showed you guys the little his second album, the Moving On album that dropped in 1998. But for those who don't know who Playa Fly is, he's an MC from Memphis, Tennessee. He's known for his affiliation with 3 6 Mafia. At the time, he was known as Little Fly, and he actually had a mixtape out called From the Darkness of the Cut, which was actually the name of his first single. You can actually find that joint on that Piff. You can download it. Pretty dope. If you guys like that Mystic Styles kind of sound, then that mixtape or album is fucking dope. I think you guys would love that joint. But anyways, like I said, he was supposed to drop an album back in 1995, but then he left the group because due to money and shit like that. I think it was either he had issues with money or he got caught doing drugs and stuff like that. I forgot which was one. It was like one of the two stuff that he was kicked out, or he left the group because of money, or he was kicked out for doing drugs. I forgot which one it was. But anyways, but because of that, you know, pretty much throughout this whole album, he's going at, 3 6 Mafia. Then you got songs like Nappy Hair, Gold Teeth, Flizzy Coming, Triple Bitch Mafia Part 2. Fucking love that song, love the beat for that. Very dark and grimy. The Show, joints like that. Pretty dope album. Love the dark feel of the album, very dark and that kind of thing. The only thing with this album, I have no issue with it, but I know for some people might be a little issue, is the mixing of the album. Because when you listen to the album, it definitely has like a kind of like a lo-fi feel to it, and like the mixing wasn't really that good. You could tell like you only can hear it like on the left channel, and then you kind of left the right channel just out. So I don't know if it was a manufacturing error or it was just like a mixing error on their part, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. But I feel like that kind of adds on to the music. It kind of gives you that grimy feel to it, that lo-fi feel to it, and I love that, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, finally got my hands on this album. I paid a little bit of money. I paid $19.99, so it came up to like close to $22, but definitely worth the money. If you guys like, old Memphis, hip hop from the 90s, mid 90s, early, that kind of thing, then you'll definitely enjoy this album right here. So this is Playa Fly with Fly Shit, released in 1996. Pick it up if you can find it, because it's out of print. Next album, finally got my hands on this joint right here. So glad I got it. And it is Rumpletilskinz with What Is A Rumpletilskin, released in 1993. For those who don't know who Rumpletilskinz are, they're a group from Uniondale, New Jersey. They're known for their affiliation with Leaders of the New School. They first appeared on Wax. Their first appearance on Wax was on the song Sound of the Zeekers, which was actually featured on Leaders of the New School's first album. A Future Without the Past, which I need to do a review on that album. I did a review on their second album, and they actually featured on the second album on the song. I think it was the song either Classic Material or Spontaneous MCs, which has like 13 MCs on the album, on the song and stuff like that. But yeah, really dope album, really aggressive, grimy. They're like the grimy version of Leaders of the New School. That's the best way I could mention this album. Production wise, it's definitely a mixture of Leaders of the New School production, that second album, the Time album, the Inner Mind's Eye, and a mixture of Onyx. If you add that to the equation, you'll definitely get this album right here. RPM, dope producer, that kind of thing. Sha Now, which he ended up doing a couple of solo song, like 12-inch singles back in the mid '90s and stuff like that. You haven't heard from him again. The singles off this album is Is It Alright, Attitudes. Those are the two singles off the album. There are videos for this. Fucking love this album. I mean, you got songs like Mad MFs, Mad Motherfuckers, which has that Onyx feel to it. Because I believe Skillz did the beat for that. I 9, Sweet Therapy, Mushroom Talk, It's Alright, Theramix, High Vibe. I mean, this whole album is fucking dope. It screams 1993, but it's a very dope album. When you pop this in, you can just see cats rocking like the 8-inch Tim boots, like the boot that Bishop from Juice Tupac was wearing, on Juice. Like, you can see cats rocking that. The Carhartt, you know what I mean, the Champion hoodies and shit like that. All that shit, man. But yeah, very dope album, dope Long Island hip hop, very underrated. This album goes a little bit for a little bit of money. I think I ended up paying like, I forgot, I think like $17 or something like that. Don't remember, but it's definitely worth the money. If you like that aggressive, you like that Onyx flavor, that kind of thing, you'll definitely enjoy this album right here. Very dope. If you guys like Leaders of the New School second album Time, then you would definitely enjoy this album right here. Very dope. Rumpletilskinz was What's a Rumpletilskin, released in 1993. Pick it up if you can find it. It's out of print. Next album is my man Nick Wiz with Cellar Sounds, Volume 5, released in 2017. Very dope. This is the 5th edition of Cellar Sounds. Very dope. Got my hands on this album right here. Love it. You know what I mean? As I mentioned to you guys before, I'm trying to get the first 2 volumes, but those came out back in like the late 2000s, and at that time I wasn't really buying albums on the internet, so I wasn't really internet savvy when it comes to like online shopping like that. But very dope album. Again, like I said before, it's pretty much songs that he had in the archives that he recorded from like 1992 to 1998. Although he had some songs from like 99 and 2000 on there too. It's pretty much unreleased songs and stuff like that. Some of them were featured on, mixtapes from back in the day, and some of them like unreleased and stuff like that. So this is pretty much no different from that. Very dope. Finally got my hands on it. Fucking love it. And he actually has a raffle out where for you to win pretty much this album, as well as like all the volumes, Cellar Sound volumes, as well as the Rand Reed Respect the Architect, which I'm trying to get my hands on, but that shit goes for mad bread. It's pretty much you take a picture of yourself with the album, holding the album, and a proof of purchase where you bought it from fithelement.com, and you show like the proof of purchase, like the receipt and stuff like that. And whoever wins that, pretty much gets all the Cellar Sounds, as long as with this and the Rand Reed Respect the Architect compilation album. Trying to get my hands on that. So I did enter the raffle, so hopefully I win. I'll let you guys know if I did or not. But yeah, Cellar Sounds Volume 5, released in 1990, released in 2017. Very dope shit. Next album is Red Hot Lover Tone, with self-titled album, Red Hot Lover Tone, released in 1992. For those who don't know who he is, he's an MC from Brooklyn, New York. You guys might know him as Tone from the Trackmasters. He's one half of the Trackmasters, with him and Poke and Tone. Well, this is Tone right here. But before all of that, he was actually the hype man for Chubb Rock back in the 80s when Chubb Rock first started. So he's known for his affiliation with Chubb Rock. Chubb Rock put him on and that kind of thing. But yeah, pretty dope album. And you guys know he did stuff with the Trackmasters and stuff like that. Done stuff like Coogee Rap, Chubb Rock, Mary J. Blige, Nas, you name it. Everything that had to do with the 90s, Nori and stuff like that. But getting back to this is like his debut album, like I said before. Known for the singles, Give It Up, which is a single. I think that was it. I think that's the only single of the album. The Diamond D remix to Give It Up, whoo, fucking dope, man. But very dope album. You know, he definitely has a lot of sex rhymes. That's what he's known for. You know, fuck mad girls and you know that the sex rhymes, that kind of thing. But you know, if that's your kind of thing, then definitely pick it up. I definitely need to get his second album, the first #1 Playa. You know what I mean? Don't have that in my collection. Definitely need to get my hands on that. I seen it going up in price recently. I remember seeing it for like $5. I never ended up picking it up. I should have bought it, but you know, I definitely will pick it up eventually. So, but yeah, Red Hot Lovertone with his debut album, self-titled album. This is released in 1992. If you like it, definitely pick it up. If you can find it, it's out of print as well. Next album, glad I got my hands on this. The Wascals with Greatest Hits. This is released in 2007. The Wascals, who are affiliates of the Far Side. They consists of 4 members: Stymie, Alfalfa, Buckwheat, and I forgot the other dude's name. But anyways, like I said, they were dubbed as the Little Far Side because, like I said, they were like the Far Side, but like the teenage version of Far Side. They were known. What's the song that they were featured on? Dream and Imaginate, which were featured on the first Far Side album, Bizarre to the Far Side, Bizarre Ride to the Far Side, were featured on that song too, and that was their first appearance on Wax. And these are pretty much songs that they recorded between 1993 and 1994. They were supposed to come out with the album, but it never dropped, so it was shelved. And fast forward to 2007, they dropped this album. So pretty much what you get is like the first out, like the original album, the first disc, and the second disc you got you have the instrumentals for some of the songs. It doesn't give you all the songs, but give you the instrumentals for some of the songs. But and the singles of this album is 2 singles: Class Clown and Dips, which they both have videos for. You can find it on YouTube, and it's actually on the DVD. So definitely a dope album, highly recommended. Lot more aggressive than the first Far Side album. It's, to me, a little bit better production wise, in my opinion. Very dope. Little trivia too: the cat Buckwheat is actually $1.50. For my Battle Axe fans that are familiar with Swollen members, that whole Battle Axe family, $1.50 is Buckwheat. So he was actually featured on that. $1.50 used to work with Alchemist and stuff like that. But yeah, Wascals with the Greatest Hits, released in 2007. Pick it up if you can find it. It's out of print. Next album is a Raw Breed with their second album, or the third album, second album, called Killing Instinct. This was released in 2017 this year. The original thing about this album, it was supposed to come out back in 1996, but at the time they were with Warner Brothers, and the album got shelved because they were deemed too. The album was deemed too violent, for Warner Brothers. So they actually had 2 choices: either you keep the album, but you get dropped, or they sell the album and you get dropped, or they had to redo another album, and which ended up becoming this album right here, and it was Blood, Sweat, and Tears. They had to redo a whole album, make a whole new album, and they dropped this album right here. And again, this is a good album. It's sorry about that. Okay, cancel. Yeah, sorry about that. So, god damn it. Dismiss. Yeah, sorry about that. So they had to redo the whole album. They had to do a whole new album, and that's why this album came about. So if you notice when you listen to the album, there's no curses and stuff like that, but it's still aggressive. So they had to make an album with more radio friendly songs, like filler tracks, but there's no filler on this album, and it's really dope. And that's pretty much it. I have one more album, but I'm gonna run out of time, and I'm making a separate video on that. Alright, hold it down, be easy, peace.